We will talk about carbohydrates. So we have total 3 types of the carbohydrates: monosaccharides, disaccharide, and polysaccharides. So mono means one. So monosaccharide, example, glucose, fructose, deoxyribose. And disaccharide, D means 2. Example, sucrose. And disaccharide made up of the 2 monosaccharide. So for example, sucrose is made of the glucose and fructose. Third type of the carbohydrates called polysaccharides, and their structure is more complex. They made of the poly, several monosaccharide, and because of this different structure, they have so many this chain of the monosaccharide attached together. They even properties is different compared to other carbohydrates. Usually carbohydrates are sweet, but polysaccharides, they lack sweetness, they're not sweet, and they also not soluble in the water compared to the disaccharide and monosaccharide, which are opposite. They hydrophilic, they soluble in the water. Polysaccharide not soluble in the water. Example will be glycogen, cellulose, dextran, chitin, and starch. Next, in here show 2 type of the reaction. So again, when we're talking about sucrose, this is chemical molecules, and this is how we can represent this sucrose molecule. This is all together. This is all sucrose. And if we put sucrose, so what is a sucrose? Sucrose is a regular sugar, what we can put in our food. So sucrose, if we put it in the water, what will happen in here? In this chemical reaction, we put water together with sucrose. If we mix sucrose with water, so what happening? Will happen chemical reaction called hydrolysis. Hydrolysis. Lysis mean breakdown. Hydro mean with help of the water. So hydrolysis is breakdown of the one complex molecule on the simple molecules with help of the water. So in here you can see now sucrose is breakdown when we put in the water, and we have 2 separate molecules now, 1 and 2. 1 will be glucose, and in here chemical formula, and in here representation of this, and the other will be fructose, and in here chemical formula and representation of the fructose in here. And so from sucrose in the water with help of the chemical reaction called hydrolysis, we will break down sucrose to the glucose and fructose. And how water involved? You can see that 1 hydrogen atom from the water will be attached in here, and hydroxyl will be attached in here. So we will break down in here this bond in the sucrose with help of the water and separate in here. So this is my show. Sucrose is disaccharide, and we make 2 monosaccharides in the water with help of the hydrolysis, glucose and fructose. Yes, so monosaccharide, because of this, they call building block of the carbohydrates, because all different type of the carbohydrates, such as polysaccharide, disaccharide, they all made up of the monosaccharide. Carbohydrates are the major source of the energy in the cell, and it's also contribute to the structural components of the cells. So cells could be made up of the carbohydrates, but most important function of the carbohydrates in the cell will be storage of the energy. So now, by the end of this part, you will be able to answer on the question, what are the building blocks of the particularly here highlighted carbohydrates, because we cover only carbohydrates right now. And we already covered two different, we cover one chemical reaction, but we will talk about the other one. So we will compare two opposite chemical reactions, dehydration or synthesis and hydrolysis. So we already talk about hydrolysis. Hydro means water, lysis breakdown, and this is what it's talking about, hydrolysis. So it means we break down some complex molecules, polymer, by adding water molecule between these components. So this is hydrolysis. Opposite reaction which happening in any living organism is dehydration or biosynthesis. So dehydration means we're removing hydration water molecule, and during this dehydration reaction, when we take two small, we're taking two small molecules and we are removing water, and we are attaching after this to this is small molecules, we can say. So this is reaction called synthesis. So dehydration means removal of water, synthesis to make, synthesis produce, make something, and it's happening in the cell all the time. And by removing of the water molecule, we will join monomers together and produce more complex molecules. So this is why it's biosynthesis reaction.